Okay. All right. Okay, I'm getting a free massage from my cameraman. So we'll start the video right now because he is a master of muscles as well. So, when I was a child, I used to go and spend my summer vacation in the countryside, about 85 kilometers away from my house in the city. My parents had a house there. And as a child, I was always fascinated by one fact. Stop eating my flowers. How the countryside people are stronger and they have better stamina than the people in the city. And over time, I gave it a serious thought about why the people in the countryside are stronger. One of the things is the diet, of course. They eat from their garden. Another thing is living in nature. It's important very, very much to live in the nature. But I think one aspect that we should think about is the fact that they are always working. They don't go to the gym. The countryside people don't use gyms, right? But they incorporate a workout in their lifestyle. So everything from morning till night is about working and using your body to maintain your life. If you don't work out, you don't have food on the table. Muscle activation is directly impacted by the way we think. When we have a purpose, when we want to do something, the mind will send the message to the body that the body is needed. We could say that there is a two-way interface between the mind and the muscles. From the kitrain method perspective, we look at the muscles as three categories. One category is the active muscles, the one that we use on a daily basis to lift objects, to push, to pull, to squeeze, to walk, to go places. So these are the active muscles. The second type of muscles, we call them passive muscles. And these muscles are also called in medicine structural muscles. So these muscles help our bones and joints to work properly, sustain our body against gravity. We can stand because of these muscles. The third type of muscles are muscles that are helping the internal organs. And muscles like the tongue, for example, muscles like the lips, the jaws, eyes, and so on. With our method, we work all these muscles because it's not about how we look only and how the muscles look. It's about how we feel and the functionality of all organs and the body in general. In my opinion, fit is about how we feel. You wake up in the morning and you have no pain. You have power to do anything you want, and the mind and the body are aligned. I'll give you an example. Some people want to go play football in their 40s. So their mind is as young when they were 20, but their body doesn't run as fast as when they were 20. Their mind still runs very fast, still thinks very fast, but the body will not follow the mind unless you are physically fit. So when I say physically fit, I refer to the fact that whatever we can do with the mind, or we think we can do with the mind, we have to be aligned with the body as well, and the muscles to be in excellent condition. So actively, let's say working out actively, being active is, in my opinion, only partially necessary to achieve a total fitness situation or status. So apart from being active, like for example, there are people that say, I go for a run for half an hour every day. Yes, it's great, but it's not enough if you want to be totally fit. So totally fit means first, being aware of all your muscles. Number two, working out all your muscles. So working your eyes muscles, working your jaw muscles, your face, your fingers, your knees, your ankles, your glutes. Everything has to be somehow involved in movement and constant movement on a maybe weekly basis. Let's say not daily basis, because we don't do that for a living. One way to do this is by practicing internal martial arts, and specifically Tai Chi. But I know that not everybody will become a Tai Chi practitioner because for certain reasons. But you can still learn the principles of Tai Chi. So the kitrain method, what we do is we teach the principles of Tai Chi that can be applied anywhere. For example, you can practice Tai Chi in your kitchen while you're cooking. You can do slow motions movements. You can do holding stances in the kitchen while you're cooking. You can do the same when you're watching TV. You can do that when you're studying, when you're driving. The principles of Tai Chi are broad enough and applicable to any type of movement. Learn the principles and then apply them and see the difference in how you feel overall. Among all the 5 tips that I'm going to share with you, one I know for a fact that is highly known throughout the traditional Chinese medicine practitioners and Qigong practitioners, but it's not very well known in the Western world by people that don't practice the art of 5 elements balance, for example, or yin and yang. And that is working out your spleen. The spleen organ system is the organ that is responsible for the quality and the quantity of our muscles. So work out your spleen. How do we work out our spleen? Spleen represents the earth element. So enhancing, improving the visibility, the presence of the earth element in your life will have an effect, a direct effect on your spleen. There are herbs, there are teas, there are certain foods that you can eat to enhance the capacity of your spleen. And that, by default, will increase the capacity of producing and maintaining excellent muscles in your body. The second secret is not a secret. You all know it already. It's having a balanced diet. Looking for moderation and in the same time, don't ignore the fact that we need to have proteins, animal proteins, eggs, especially the egg yolk, meat, fish, fats, butter, and so on. We need to have this element, especially after the age of 40, because we want to make sure that we have enough sources of proteins for our muscle mass not to disappear from our body. Sarcopenia is a condition. I wouldn't call it a disease, even though it is wanted to be called a disease. Sarcopenia is a condition that appears after 45, 50 years old, where the muscle mass starts dissolving. So then a general weakness in the body appears. We want to avoid that. We want to have strong muscles, excellent stamina, and we need to be able to do anything that we want. Remember the example with the football. We want to play football in your 50s. You want to run, maybe not as fast as when you were 20, but fast enough. Then you must make sure that your muscles are in great conditions. Number 3 is an advice that I just gave my son last month, because I went through it and I didn't have a good experience. Try to avoid any type of supplements. No matter how good they say they are, believe me, they are not natural. Stick with the diet, stick with eggs, stick with animal proteins, and you will be totally fine. If you take supplements, those have to be metabolized, they have to be accepted by your body, and most times, because they are not natural, then your liver will suffer. And then you will have more muscle mass temporarily, but on long term, your health will suffer. So stay away from supplements unless you are in a bodybuilding contest and you want to win the Olympic title. That's different. But if you're a normal human like me and like everybody else, try to stay away and stick only with normal food. Chilled food, fresh food, and stay away from canned food and from supplements. Okay. The last 2 secrets are related to Tai Chi and Qigong, but I am not going to teach you Tai Chi and Qigong in this video. I am going to talk about 2 elements that are present in the practice that you can use in your gym practice, at home, in your own practice. One is holding stances. Holding stances is an exercise of patience, but it's also an exercise of building resistance. And when I say building resistance, I mean building your muscles, your joints, and your skeleton. Your bones will become stronger when you hold stances for a longer period. The stances can be held for the upper body or for the lower body. There are many stances that you can learn, that you can practice, but the main point is to be able to do it gradually. You cannot do it in the beginning for half an hour. For example, there is an exercise in Tai Chi, in Qigong, which is called San Zhuang, and you can find more information on my website as well. And you're holding this posture, and you're holding it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, all the way to 1 hour. You cannot do it for a long time in the beginning. It takes months and sometimes years to reach the length of time necessary to be really strong. Last trick that I want to talk to you about is working in slow motion. Slow motion comes from Tai Chi, but it can be applied in the gym. You can work with light weights, and the idea is that when you move very fast, your body uses momentum to move. So you use 10% of your muscles, and then you move the hand using 10% of your muscles. If you do this in slow motion, and there is a technique which I am teaching in my classes, which is called the counting technique. You count 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so on and so forth until you turn movement into stillness. And the stillness becomes movement, and the movement becomes stillness. And that develops your muscles and your joints and your bones in a way that you cannot do with any type of other movement. And you can do this with your legs, you can do this with your abdomen, you can do push-ups, for example. You can do 30 push-ups and you put a lot of pressure on your heart, or you can do 1 push-up in 30 moves. 15 you go down and 15 you go up. And that builds tremendous stamina on your arms and chest and back. So try it out. Another aspect that comes as a result of the practices that I mentioned earlier is the body density. We are programmed to think that our body has to measure a certain weight according to the weight. And if we are heavier than the table says, we think, oh my God, I'm overweight. In my practice and meeting Tai Chi masters and Tai Chi practitioners for 20, 25 years, I realized that they are heavier than normal people. And I'm practicing also for over 13, 14 years. I am heavier than I used to be before because my body became denser. So the result of working with your body in slow motion, holding stances, and of course, a balanced diet makes your body more dense. When your body is denser, then obviously, this is physics, yeah, your body will be heavier. So the tables that are recommended by the doctors and in the journal, in the medicine journals, they do not apply to people that do the practice that we do. So if you by any chance you're practicing and you feel like your weight is not according to what it should be, just take a step back and look again and see, maybe your body is denser. Maybe your body became denser because of your lifestyle, and there's nothing wrong with it. Being denser is great. Remember, women after 50, when they reach menopause, they get affected and they get osteoporosis. Some men too. So the bones become not that dense as they were before. The muscles the same, so they are predisposed to accidents, to breaking bones and joints and so on. So having a denser body, especially when you age, is actually an amazing thing. I've noticed, I met people, Tai Chi masters in their 80s that are very strong. You cannot move them. They are like mountains because they do this practice for many years, for 20, 30 years. So that by itself is a goal. Become denser. Not fatter, denser. Finally, I think you have to agree with me that feeling good, feeling strong is much more important than looking good. So think about maybe changing or adapting some of the ideas that I gave you in this video to your daily practice. Stay fit, stop aging, and I hope you practice with us.